I know as designers, at times being able to put together the elements to create a pleasing solution can be painful. Tunji from Ceasar Graphics, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you tips on how to improve your graphic design using the design I received from designers. So without any further ado, let's start. The balancing of the information in the project in terms of the layout is not really okay. I'm talking of the use of space that are not really necessary. All right, this really made the project boring, and wrong placement of type, placing the type in the wrong position is part of what affected the success of this design, which is still part of the use of space that are not necessary. All right, and the reason I'm saying this is because, you know, if you look at the title here, we have Obo Friday, and I'm sure the title is supposed to be Obo Friday Festival. So this festival is too far from this. And space in graphic design is also part of what we use to give rest in our project. When you give space between your content, what you're trying to say is the contents are not together. All right, you don't want people to see them as one family. So the way this designer gave space here, so whenever you're asked to work on design projects, what you're doing is you're trying to make them find it easy to read everything in the project. So the way you play with space matters. The way you position your content, your elements matters in your project. Your wrong placing of the elements can destroy the success of the design. So whenever you're working on any project, do the project like the way you see designs that look successful to you, the way you were able to access the information in that design that made you love the design. That's the same way you're supposed to place elements in your project. I know the designer is trying to play with the colors that complement each other on the color wheel here, but aside from using the colors that complement each other in the color wheel, there's a part of playing with the value of the color. All right, you're not playing with the value of the color, right, can affect the success of the design. And I think that's what this designer did here. All right, the green color we have in the project is really shouting, and you know, this really made the project boring. If you're the designer and you're watching this training, please do me a favor, send the editable file. I'm going to redesign this for you and show you how to play with the right color in your project and how to use space well to give life and make your project look interesting to the eye. Okay, so let's go straight to our next design. Yeah, this is a beautiful design that I like. I like the fact that you can easily access the information in the project, which is movements of the eye. You know, when you see this project, the first thing that draws your attention is this, and the making the movement in your project balanced, arranging your elements in a way that your viewers will find it easy to access each of the information step by step, like view them in a sequential form, is part of what makes your design project look successful. So in this project, the first thing that draws our attention, the content with the high level of hierarchy in this project, is this. And the next thing that draws our attention, you know, is this. And then I like the fact that the proximity in this project is very, very balanced, which is also part of, you know, what every designer must know how to use. You know, in the previous design, I was talking about the use of space wrongly. And here, this designer played with the use of space right. If you look at this bold title here, you notice that there's this space here telling us that, see, this information here is different from, you know, this. So space should be used to separate the content in your design, the information you have in your design, so your viewers can access every information in your project easily. All right, then the other you know, part of what really made this look more catchy to our eye is because of the weight. You know, giving weight to the important information in your projects will draw the attention of the viewers to it. It's going to be the first thing that draws the attention of the viewers. And that's what, this designer did here. And what really make our attention go straight to this is because aside from this, we don't have any information in the project that carry this weight again. And that's what, made this really look interesting and eye catchy to us. All right. Then I also like, I've mentioned the proximity, which is the grouping of the element. I like the proximity in the project, which is very, very beautiful. Then the other thing I love so much about this project is unity, making it look like all the information in the project belong together. And I'm saying this here because of the texture that we have on the cinema chair here. If you look at the title here, you'll notice that we have the texture on the chair in the title, and this really made it look like the title is printed on the chair. And the same thing is what we have, right here on the title of the movie to watch. And this really made, the project look interesting. But there's something I noticed the designer did not really do well here, which is the use of elements that are not, really necessary. When you're trying to say that your information is printed on a surface, you're not supposed to use this sunlight effect. You only use this sunlight effect when you are trying to maybe say there's something shiny. Maybe you're trying to create a shiny effect on your title, or you're trying to create a sun effect on any information that you have in your project. But in the case where you're trying to say that this information is printed on this surface here, you're not supposed to use this effect, this light effect. All right. The use of this light effect has, changed the message, and is now making us ask, or it's going to make your viewers go, okay, so what's the idea behind the light? How did the light get to the chair? Remember, I've said this to you guys several times that whenever you are putting together the elements in your design, know you're trying to create a scene. Know you're trying to create a story. You're trying to create a picture. All right. So the same way you take a picture with your camera phone and everything around you is looking where they are supposed to be, it's things that are far from you are smaller, and then you that is the focus, you are bigger than every other content around you. That's the same way you're supposed to place elements in your project. You don't just do anything because, okay, you don't want the project to look empty. All right. Please, when you do that, you're going to end up achieving dull layout. And lastly, before we get to the third design, this is not necessary. All right. I don't expect you to have this, in the project. Don't put this here. It's not okay. Take it out. You've achieved a great project here. Don't use what is not necessary in your project. The use of using elements that are not necessary in your project can destroy the project. So I expect you to at least, move this down, take that out. All right, to make your project nice and eye catchy. All right, this should come down. So excuse me, this should go down a bit like that. So this is better like this. So this should come down here and you're good to go. All right. Yeah. So let's go straight to our last design in this training. All right. So this is a doll composition, and I'm going to redesign this. But before I redesign this, I'm going to quickly share the things that are not really helping here. Now, the first thing that really affected the success of this design is the lack of paying attention to contrast. And I need every one of you to take note of all the things I'm going to share with you in this training, because you're being able to spot or identify what affected the success of any design is your opportunity. All right, is part of what's going to help you with knowing how to achieve successful design. Now, the first thing that really affected the success of this design is contrast. In fact, it's just contrast. All right, the contrast or the contrast where the use of color, all right, is concerned. The contrast where the use of value is concerned is what really, affected the success of this design. When you are given a design project to work on and you are given the images to use, know that the image, yeah, I know I've shared this with you guys before, and I'm going to continue sharing it with you. The image, every content, every effect, anything around that image is also part of the project. But there are times where, as a designer, there are things that are part of the image that you need to get rid of. But our focus today is not on the getting. In fact, yeah, we're also going to get rid of some things, because anything that is not helping in the that is not supposed to be part of the illustration is going to take away from the project, and it's going to affect the success of the project. It's going to make it look boring. So your image, your illustration is also part of the project. I know too many of us don't get this part. I know what I just shared with you now. I'm sure so many of you will say, yes, Caesar, yeah, I know it's supposed to be part of the project. Yeah, but you guys don't mostly get that part. And I'm going to share why this designer did not do well here on the understanding how to use the illustration in the project right. You see, the color on your illustration is also part of the color in the project. All right. And in this design here, this designer did not do well here on this part. All right. The sky is bright, and they will not have this bright part of the illustration here. And this really affected the, making this really look eye-catchy to us. Whenever you're asked to work on projects related to food or drink or anything that got to something that's supposed to go to the mouth, your job as a designer is to find ways to make that thing mouth-watering to the viewers. And part of how you can do this right is to really make that illustration, that thing that you're supposed to market, draw attention fast. Part of how we do this in graphic design is making sure that that focus is placed on a background that will project the illustration. And that's what this designer did not pay attention to right here. All right. So yeah. And then I can also see that we have the use of elements that are not really necessary. Your using of elements that are not really necessary in your project can, affect the success. Yeah, I know you were trying to say, okay, these are the strawberries from, the perfect. All right. But for me, for this type of project, I'm going to say no, because, already have all this grass in the project in the form of a pattern. All right. So your job as a designer is to find ways to reduce the use of too much element in the project to help make the project look simple. Because if you look at this grass here, the grass looks full here. So you adding this again is you adding to the problem. So whenever you notice you have images like this in your project, please find ways to reduce the using of other elements in the project to spice it up. All right. And then the other thing I think is not really necessary here is this here. Why? Because you're trying to say that you can buy this perfect for 3,000 naira, which is for those of you who are not Nigeria, that's Nigerian currency there. So you're trying to say that you can get this perfect for 3,000 naira. But for you to put this again next to this, you're trying to say, which you're going to get the viewers confused, that see, you can get this too for this amount. And that's not true. Because I'm sure you guys can see that this glass here is different from this glass. So what so this is looking like you're trying to say you can get this too for just 3,000 naira only. And that is not right. All right. So if I were you, I'm going to get rid of this and then retain this. All right. And yeah. All right. So what I'll do for you is, because I have the editable file. So I'm going to quickly redesign this and use this to share my point with you guys, so you guys understand how to play with your illustration right in your projects. Okay. All right. So this is the after, and I'm going to share why I came up with this layout here. If you wish to watch the tutorial where I explain how I achieved this project, you can use the link in the description section of this video. So contrast is very important in fact, contrast is king. Contrast is what really give life to every element you use in your project. So what I did here is to make sure that I use contrast to project every information that I have in the project. If you look at this upper part here, you notice I have this blue sky color and I have the text on top of it. So the reason why I decided to make this part of the sky more darker is because of this information that I placed here. All right, so I'm starting from top to bottom here now. Then for the title, all right, if I place the title at the top here, because of the white color, it's going to be difficult for people to see. You can still put your title at the top here. And what you now need to do is to change the color so that it will stand out on the sky. But in the case where we already have this texture, I'm talking of the grass texture, the busyness on the perfect here, making your title have another color with the sky is going to make the project heavy. So I decided to still maintain the white color and place it on the grass so that the contrast on the title and the background is going to really pop and help the making the title more visible to the eye. Then, because I know the price tag, I know I'm going to make it this small, I decided to use a color that reads fast, which is red. All right, because as you can see here, it looks as if I'm hiding the price tag. So I decided to use the red color to really help make focus go to it and, make it draw people's attention. Okay, then the part of the placing the venue here, there's two things I did here. Number one is the separating the venue from the other information that we have in the project. And there's a reason for this. Because I know I'm going to make the size of the venue, the phone number with the social media smaller, I decided to create a frame with a dark value color and then place the information on it. The color I use on this information here is from the sun image that we have in the background. All right. So because I know that, yes, because I know it's going to be difficult for people to see the social media and do if I use the same color with the venue, I decided to use the darker value of this same color to create space and make people know that, yes, this information you have here is the social media handle. So let's go straight to the eye movement in the project here now. The first thing I used to draw the people's attention, the first level of hierarchy in this project is the perfect. All right, is the perfect. So this is going to be the first thing that the people see. Then the second thing they see is this. I know so many of you will be wondering, but Ceasar, this is not as big as the title. Yes, this is the second thing they see because images are attention grabber. No matter how small you make them, they will surely draw attention. So this is the first thing that people see. Then this will now be the third. All right, this is the third thing they see. This is the fourth thing that people see. Now you see how I'm able to control the movement of the eye of my viewers in the project. So for the number 3, they see this together. And the reason why the viewers are going to see these two together is because this is close to the title. All right, so this is the number 4. Then this is the number 5. And I'll tell you why this is the number 5. You see this guy here, all right, is close to all this information we have here. So this is going to be the number 5, and this is going to be the number 6. And that's it. So this is the after, and this is the before. I'm glad you made it to the end of this tutorial. If you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If there's anything you learn from this video, kindly drop it in the comment section. Now, guys, let's work together to touch lives. Share this video with other creatives. And the other part where I need your help is I have young folks that mostly call me to teach them how to achieve design. So I decided to start a foundation where people like you can work together with me to help these people. So I need you to kindly donate so I can get the necessary gadgets to help these young poor guys. So if you want to support the foundation, simply make use of the link in the description section of this video or use the link on the screen. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.